Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, and we are back for another review of Married to Medicine. This is the reunion part 2. Okay, so hear me out. I think some of the ladies, a real problem with Quad isn't necessarily the things that she's done, but it's that she's outshone them in some ways. I feel like they don't like the fact that once she got on that sister circle, that she started to treat them differently and she started to smell herself a little bit. Quad didn't resume what they felt was her rightful place, which would be a doctor's wife, kind of behind the scenes, behind the doctors. In real life, without the show, some of these women would never hang out with Quad. And Quad would never hang out with them. They do not respect her, just like they didn't respect Toya, just like at times they did not respect Mariah. It's what they do. So I don't understand why Quad is the one who you continually have Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone saying needs to take accountability, like they're not included in that equation as well. We pick up the episode with Quad, in my opinion, begging to be friends with Jackie and Simone. We see her saying to Jackie she would never release that video, and Jackie tells Quad that she didn't know what to believe, that Quad doesn't include them in their circle, and that she sees Quad out there kicking it on the gram and having a good time, and that's fine, but they're not being included in it. We all know that Jackie doesn't want to do things that single Quad is doing. She even tells Quad when she makes a statement about that yes, she wouldn't be out that late. So why are you complaining about it? Jackie barely drinks. Jackie's idea of fun is going home and scrolling on social media, which is why she's able to even see what Quad is doing. They talk about the text, and Jackie's like, how many times have I texted you and you don't respond? Or how long does it take for you to respond? And how many times have I called you and you don't respond? And Quad says, I'm not good with the phone thing. And they just both agree that they'll work on it and they do better. I need Quad to text Jackie as soon as this show is over, as soon as those cameras are down. 2 days later, check on her, say, how you doing, Jackie, after the reunion? Because girl, at this point, you got to ensure that you get that $1 million check and that it comes after the work that you had to do during this reunion. We see Quad and Simone then talking because Simone is sitting in the chair and Quad goes to see her at her dressing room, and she says, I feel like there's still some more things that we need to talk about. So now she's begging for Simone's forgiveness, and she's taking all types of ownership. And she said, I will own that I was hurt and I was sad and I was angry and that we lost a number of years, Simone, and I'm over it at this point. Simone says she receives it and they hug. Quad last episode told us that Simone basically started treating her differently, not because of anything that she did to Simone, but out of Simone's words, because of that girl right there and how that girl right there, Toya, is there for her. Simone admitted it. So here you are, now asking the same person that said she didn't have a real reason to be upset with you for forgiveness. That bothers me. But at the same time, I understand she's doing it for a check. I think Quad got a taste of what it feels like to not receive a check for doing all the episodes, and Quad doesn't want to experience that again. So they come back from break. Jackie says that they talked about accountability and what support looks like and what friends need from friends. And they've worked it out. I love Jackie, but the irony of her saying that we've talked about accountability when Jackie herself still hasn't taken accountability for what she said on the show. Now, I don't know what she said on social media because, as I told you all before, I didn't watch any of that stuff. I wanted to wait till the reunion. I don't know if Bravo maybe cut it out, but the entire segment that we saw in part 1 didn't involve anything, in my opinion, about Jackie being upset that she said Black women oftentimes cry wolf, and she was sad about how it affected them. It seemed like she was more sad about how it affected her and not the patients. You all let me know what you think down below. Maybe I'm overlooking it. Maybe there's some things that I'm not privy to, but I just felt like that moment seemed like a moment where Bravo was trying to clean up things for Dr. Jackie rather than Jackie really owning that fact that she said it. Like, you're mad because the video resurfaced. It can't resurface if it was never taken down. It was put out on YouTube, from what I understand, on Heavenly's platform. And even to the point when they filmed this episode, they said it was still up. So who's supposed to be responsible for this? Jackie, you said the words, you made the statements, and people do what they do, and they recall, and they utilize that moment, and they look things up, and they find it for themselves. I don't think anyone from the cast did it. Quad agrees that they've come to a better place, and she says that she misses some of the relationships. Toya says, Quad, I'm glad that you came to this place where you can see that we mean something to you. We then see a throwback from 2013 with Dr. G and Quad, and him giving her a Burberry bag, and she's excited because she likes Burberry until she pulls out the Banana Republic dress. Bravo is messy for this, but this just shows the type of man that Dr. G was, and to my core, or not my core, to his core, I still think he is. They show how Sweet Tea over the course of this season operated. They show different clips of her. They talked about, you know, the wedding and her time with Heavenly and her endometriosis. And at the end, she was crying a little bit. She tells Andy that she's getting healthier. She's getting better. She had surgery in August, which was a couple months ago, and everything went well. That she is not considered infertile yet because you have to actively try to conceive for over a year with no success in order to be deemed infertile. She says her tubes are clear though, so there's hope. They talk about some of the statements that Quad has made about Sweet Tea's clothing on one of Andy's shows. He was asked, he asked Heavenly and Quad a question about who wears the most fake labels. They answer it, but it's the girl's first season on the show. She's married to a cheapskate, as we know, based on the whole Banana Republic dress in a Burberry bag. She doesn't make the same amount of money as the people she's surrounded by. Whether she wears fake labels or not, I don't care. I don't even understand why anybody would ask this question on Twitter. It's a little tacky to me, and it left room to make fun of Sweet Tea. I don't really care for her, but whatever. Tisha denies what they're saying about her purchasing her fake designer labels in a parking lot. Heavenly says it's true. Tisha wants to know why Quad keeps talking about her. Quad keeps talking about you because that's what Andy wanted all along. That's what Bravo wanted. Andy is making and asking messy questions on various shows to Quad, which would require Quad to respond. The only way for Quad to avoid those questions would be for her to say, next question, please. She says, but Quad, you also talk about me on social media. You talk about my voice and you talk about Gregory. And Quad says, that's my relationship with him. You'll never erase it. Andy is so excited about this exchange because it's what Bravo wanted all along. He grabs a piece of fudge and sits back and eats it. Meanwhile, you have the guys in the back laughing as they watch it. I personally don't feel like it's funny. I don't like seeing these two black women argue over something that shouldn't even be a thing. If Quad truly has moved on, let's not discuss Sweet Tea at all. Say whatever you want to say about Dr. G, but don't talk about Sweet Tea. It just makes you look like you still want to be in that. Not So Sweet Tea wants to know why Quad is so upset with her. Quad says, I'm not. They go back and forth. Quad tells her to bring it down. Toya then asks, why did you say that she doesn't fit into the group? Me personally, I feel like she doesn't. She said it herself. She said that she has nothing in common with these older ladies, with these geriatric ladies, with these ladies as old as her grandma, that she didn't really want to go on the trip because she was probably going to be bored. These are things that came out of her mouth, but nobody brings that up. Quad says, a number of us have said that. Toy says, but I'm not talking about the number of people, I'm talking about you. And Heavenly interjects and says, all of us had said that. And Phaedra says, I think she fits in, but Phaedra, you don't fit in. Maybe as far as like comedic relief, but you don't have much in common with these ladies either. Not in my opinion. I feel like there's a cohesiveness that is missing there, especially because Phaedra's not dating anyone when that was how she originally got on the show. Andy says, Toya, if you got divorced and Eugene's new wife joined the show, I know you wouldn't like it. Toya says, oh no, I'm an advocate of the show, and this drama, that would be great TV, which is what they thought was going to happen by bringing Dr. Greg and his new fiance to the show. But it fell flat to me. It didn't give what they thought it was going to give, especially because they so quickly tried to remove Quad from the situation. Toya claims that she wouldn't have a problem with it, that he could bring his new wife and she would just make sure that she had a sexy man behind her too. Toya knows she's lying. Sweet Tea let us know that Heavenly invited her into the group. That was a shock to me. I didn't know that. She said she thought that the ladies were going to allow her into the group with open arms, and that it kind of shifted once they went to the bachelorette party when her maid of honor informed her that Heavenly wasn't in support of her relationship. She was hurt, and that's why Heavenly got uninvited. Even though Heavenly is a few younger than Dr. G, she called him older than dirt, and he didn't like that, and he wants to know why she would say that. Let's be clear. In comparison to Sweet Tea, who is 30 at the time, or maybe she's 31, I can't remember. She's in her early 30s. 30 and 55 is a major age difference. She said that her husband is older than her father, I think, or around the same age. You're not going to tell me that Heavenly making that comment was talking about everybody else when Heavenly is around that age. We're then shown a clip of Sweet Tea saying that Dr. Damon is cheating on Heavenly, and that when Mariah claims to have receipts of it, that Heavenly believed it. And Dr. Damon is listening to this and he doesn't like it. He looks at Dr. G and says, I've known you for 10 years. Do you think I'm a cheater? Dr. G says, I don't know what that is. Yo, I'm sorry. Right here is hurting so bad. Yesterday, when I was out with my son, he gets in the car and he was about to drive, and the wind blew so hard that his hat flew, and the brim of the hat hit me right here, and it hurt so bad right now that I feel like I need to put something on it. It's throbbing. Back to this. Dr. G says he doesn't know what he does. To me, that's a yes. Dr. Damon's asking you, do you think I'm a cheater? And you say, I don't know what you do. That's a yes. He believes it. He says, do you think that I cheated? He says, I don't know. Dr. Damon says, it's either a yes or a no. I'm Damon. Don't be in the middle. Just tell me what you think. Curtis says, that sounds evasive. It's a yes or a no, and it is. Cecil then says it's a yes or a no. He eventually says no, he doesn't think that Dr. Damon is a cheater, and they shake hands. But I feel like he only said that because he was afraid that the men would gang up on him. Understand that when she did that live, that those two married people probably had a long discussion about it. He needs Sweet Tea to remain on the show because his check isn't cutting it. And I say that because Quad had said on a live, I believe it was, with the ladies, that house should have been paid off by now because when she left, it was almost paid off. And for some reason, he refinanced it. So he needs to make sure that he stays in good so his wife can stay on the show. They asked about the scene with Heavenly saying that her main issue with the situation with Dr. Greg and saying what she said at the bachelorette party was that she felt like Sweet Tea was being controlled because that's what she said. Sweet Tea said she never said that. The Heavenly said, well, you got drunk and you told me a lot of things about him, even to the point of him comparing you and some of the things that you were doing to Quad. And she did. We saw it. They even showed a quick clip of it. She said, I just thought about my daughter, and I wanted her to learn some things like how to stack her money. I wanted Sweet to be in a position kind of like where Quad is, where she has her own stuff and she invests it well and she do some things with herself. Sweet Tea then wants to know why Heavenly said that she lied about her endometriosis. Heavenly says that she didn't necessarily say that she lied about it, but she just found it to be odd that she didn't know about it, because the doctor and her would have had with the symptoms that she was having, it would have made her want to research things. Heavenly gives a bunch of excuses, none that I agree with. She talks about how as a woman she should have known earlier and how she would have did this and how she would have did that. And Jackie points out how for some women it takes 8 to 12 years to even know that they have it, and they go even further undiagnosed when they're African American women. And Simone adds that diagnosis is surgical. So Sweet Tea wants to ask the question again about why she said it. And Sweet Tea says, B, I answered you 3 times. I'm done with the conversation. A lot of women in the comment section did say that Sweet Tea trapped him, but it wasn't so much of the endometriosis. If I remember correctly, what I saw a lot of on Twitter was people saying that she put the baby emojis and stuff like that, knowing that it would get his attention, even though she knew that she was having some form of complications with the way that her cycle was, that she probably knew something was up. I can't speak to what's going on in another woman's body. I feel like people need to worry about their own situation when it comes to that. So a lot of this could be alleviated if Heavenly would stop running her mouth so much and just focus on her and Daddy. Andy asked her, Heavenly, why are you being so hard on her? Andy, the girl just said that she feels like Dr. Damon is cheating on her. Whether Heavenly says it or not, that's why she's being so hard on her. But Heavenly's hard on everybody who's new. She likes to haze people. Look at how her and Dr. Contessa went at it. She says, Andy, I'm not being hard on her. At this point, I'm trying to dial it down. And she keeps coming for me like she wants a response. We then see Dr. Alicia join the cast. She says that this season, she's felt like she's been on the psych ward during her residency because it's a lot of craziness. There's a lot of unsolicited outbursts and things of that nature. Simone, they show the clip of Simone saying that Quad's departure has taken the cloud away from the group while they were in Napa. Quad doesn't like that. Quad says she's not a level of darkness or heavy or evil. She's a fun-loving person. She's positive and optimistic. Simone says, I 100% agree with that when you choose to. When she chooses to, that's correct. Toya agrees. Dr. Alicia says she's happy to be a mom and be at home with her kids while her husband is able to provide for them as an oral surgeon. And he asks different questions about how Kima's passed judgment on American women, etc. Bottom line is, in their household, Dr. Alicia is okay with Kima's beliefs. Annie reads also lists of things that Heavenly has said in the past about Toya, including her being lazy and her never working a day in her life. Heavenly said that, oh, I have to correct one of those things because she has worked a day in her life. That was wrong. She says, look, Andy, Toya is a lady of leisure, and I feel like she's lazy. We're talking about Heavenly. It makes complete sense that Heavenly would think that Toya is lazy when Heavenly had 3 children of her own. She's a dentist. She made sure that she worked, came home. Currently, to my knowledge, she's a dentist. She has Heavenly University. She has a hair store, and she does YouTube. So, of course, to her, Toya being a stay-at-home mom whose children are of age now that it doesn't require so much of her to be hands-on, who has her wine business, may be considered lazy. And this is a new endeavor, so I can see why she might feel that way. These other women work extremely long days. Toya says she just gets the job done without looking like she works hard. Whatever, it works for their household. Eugene likes it. We get flashbacks of some of the kids. Andy asks what's going on at the party pad of Miles and Michael. Simone says they're living together and they're getting along great. Andy wants to know if they're keeping up with the rent. Simone checks him really quick and says, you mean keeping up with the mortgage? He said, that's right. They're there for free at first. They then talk about Toya and Eugene's approach to informing the boys about sex, and ask if it embarrasses the boys, and obviously it doesn't embarrass them because they didn't mind talking about it on the show. Medical or straight talk, I appreciate the honesty that they had with their children. I think that children of today deserve that because they have access to so many things. Why not let them learn from you rather than just turning to their friends or social media? Toya says they have completely different children. One is more like her and one is more like Eugene. Quad gives a quick memory story about how when they were in a good place and she was over there, the one that she was talking about, that search to see what a vagina looked like and things of that nature, when Quad was holding him zip down her shirt to see. So he's always been inquisitive. She said he's just going to be a physician, and they all laugh about it. Simone says that one thing that thousands of dollars in therapy has let her know is that they, as parents, are allowed to parent their kids the way they want to. That Cecil has his way, she has hers, and either way, they've raised amazing boys. Jackie is asked by Andy if Alora took her up on her offer to call her for medical advice or any type of other advice. Jackie says, yes, she's called. He wants to know about what. Heavenly says, Jackie, don't tell him what she said. And Jackie says, HIPAA. Okay, so HIPAA. So she a patient now, Jackie? Got it. But I do like that she didn't share. Heavenly's asked about the infidel in her cabinet. Sweet Tea thinks that Heavenly's hiding a grandchild because of it. She talks about how at one point Heavenly told her that she used to have dreams that she was going to be a grandma from her oldest. And everybody's like, if Heavenly had a grandchild, Heavenly would be happy. She would be excited about that. Heavenly claims that Dr. Damon is allergic to milk, and that's the type that he drinks with his cereal. I feel like there's all types of other milk out there, but I would think that Heavenly would be smart enough not to tell that lie. You have people who aren't allergic to oat milk, but they don't like how it tastes. You have people who aren't allergic to soy milk, but don't like how it tastes. I know I personally love almond milk, but I don't like everybody's almond milk. Almond Breeze I like, but I'm just particular about different brands. So it could be something like that. At this point, though, it would be silly to hide a grandchild. We, at some point, will know. I mean, her kids are older, and the two oldest ones have completed their first level of college. So is that really a big deal if somebody has a kid? No. Heavenly is asked about her relationship with her sister. She thanks Sweet Tea because she says, you saying that your mom's in hell, it helped me and my sister, because my sister called me as a result of you saying that. Probably ready to get Sweet Tea together. Like, look, she got her twin and you got me, and I can fight unlike you, Heavenly. What are we gonna do? She says that because of that, they talk more now via text and a few, times throughout the month, and it's getting better. Sweet Tea lets Heavenly know it was a slip up. She didn't hear completely what she said. I don't think so. I think that Sweet Tea's a your mama person, just like Heavenly used to be a your mama person. Andy claims Heavenly seems a lot different now. Heavenly says she's been going to therapy. Maybe I missed something because I don't see much of a difference, but to each his own. The guys come out for their segment. Andy does his round of questioning for each man, and when he gets to Curtis, he says, "You flying in from the DR tonight?" Curtis says no, from Atlanta. Andy is so shady. Dr. G's asked if Phaedra asked him for $4,000 a month in a roundabout way. He says yes. He says he didn't have 4 stacks, but he was shooting his shot, which means Quad isn't lying about what she said about what Dr. G told her, because here he is now saying it. He said, has anything more happened between the two of you? And this mofo says, not in real life. Meaning he wanted more to happen between the two of them. He said there was a time where I thought it was going to happen, but it never did. You see the ladies laugh, some of them laughing in the back about it, but you hear Toya saying you need to go smack them. They asked what the hardest part for the men is about being in a relationship on TV for the last 10 years. And Cecil said that, we saw it, much like Curtis did. He's asked about his golfing buddy because they show a clip when him and Simone were going at it at the reunion. And one of the things that was complained about was that lady. And he said he would never see her again. And he said that he meant that he wouldn't see her again. And he has not spoken to her or seen her since that episode. Curtis says everybody knows of his struggles. and that was hard, but we came through it in a good way and we're on a good path, and maybe it will help someone else. I don't see passion with Curtis and Jackie, but I don't know if that's their personality. You all let me know what you think, because even as the different men were arriving, you saw them embrace their wives and kiss, whereas Jackie just did like a wave, but they could have just left. So maybe I'm digging too hard. Greg says that for the bachelor party, he invited the stripper to his wedding, but he didn't expect the stripper to show up. Damon is then asked about his daughter because someone posted on Twitter how much, Damon crying touched him. And he said, we don't have to talk about it. I don't know. He said, when all my kids left, I was sad and I missed them, but it was just different with my sons versus my daughter. With my sons, it was just a day or two. But with Alora, it's, he still misses her. And he doesn't know if it's because of how close they are. And I would think so. Also, daddy's little girl is different than your boys. That's my assumption. Greg wishes that he didn't lie to Sweetie about the robbers coming in the house, but he felt like telling her that would change her behavior because he was worried about her safety. As he's talking, like, he really talks about his wife like she's a child, and I feel like he's full of crap. They get on Kima for some of his comments. He said that this happy wife, happy life thing doesn't work for him, that a lot of men are miserable because they're doing so much to have a happy wife that they're not taking themselves into consideration. They talk about the nutsack thing, and Eugene didn't like it. Eugene points out that he feels like that Kima, when saying that, just used that to say that women are doing too much in general. He did, but I don't care about Kima's thoughts because I'm not married to him. Eugene says him and Toya are equal, but that doesn't make him less of a man. Kima says if a decision needs to be made, who's going to be the person that makes the decision? In his household, it's 51-49. Dr. Damon says he doesn't feel like he needs to point out who's the leader of his household. He says good leaders don't have to point out they're the head. I get irritated with a lot of this because they come down hard on Kima because Kima is blatant about the way he feels. But Dr. G and Dr. Damon have some of those same similar traditional thoughts. The only difference is they aren't as vocal about it. They are more particular about how they put it out. Like Dr. G is worse than Dr. Damon. Kima is worse than Dr. G. So you don't pay it any mind because of this one thing. Some of this is cultural. Some of this is belief. Either way, it's about what works for the individuals. And for now, it is working for Kima and his wife. Dr. Alicia said that she likes a man in charge, as does Heavenly, as does Toya, which goes back to what I said about how those men are the same as Kima, just not as vocal and as blatant and as, what's the word I'm using for? I can't think of the word right now. It's going to bother me. Oh, I can't think. Anyways, they're not like him. I don't know what Kim is talking about as far as culture shock coming here, because I've seen independence in my family and they're from Jamaica. I've seen independence in my friends and their families, and they're from various areas in Africa. But this is what Kima says, so maybe that's what he saw when he was little. Jackie says, when you said train a woman, it's ignorant. Alicia says him saying training was a joke. He says it was a joke too, but he said he's not joking about oral, that he grew up in Jamaica and it's taboo. If you do it, you keep it behind closed doors. I don't know what the hell Kima is talking about, because I've heard it talked about. So I guess it just depends on your family and the individuals you're around and the time period. I think people are a lot more vocal about that stuff now. I don't think that it's a cultural thing, because I remember even here in the United States that back in the day, everybody was acting like those were things that they didn't do. And now I have a lot of girlfriends who openly admit to doing certain things. So it's just like, is this really a cultural thing, or is this just a thing? I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Before the ladies come out Andy asks Dr. G if he has any hesitation about seeing Quad, and he says he's in a different place in his life right now, and he doesn't want to venture backwards. That man allegedly assaulted Quad. Quad allegedly assaulted him. And Bravo asked him, despite knowing all of this, to be back on the show. Quad has had to answer questions. Your wife has had to answer questions. He needs to face whatever questions are asked of him because it comes with the contract. I'm tired of them coddling Dr. G and, oh, we thank you for coming back. Oh, we could do without him because he's annoying to me. The ladies come back, the men as well, and there's an extra chair. They think it's Quad bringing another man, but lo and behold, it's Apollo. And I don't know who's smiling harder, Toya or Andy. And that is the end of the episode. You all let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, one more part. I'm looking forward to the last part. Because, yeah. You know what? This, to me, Married to Medicine was better this season than Real Housewives of Potomac. But it's not giving the nostalgia that it used to give. I used to love Married to Medicine. You all let me know your thoughts down below. Until next time.